Reagan was born February 6, 1911 in Tampico, Illinois. Ronald Reagan was known as the 40th President of the United States, an actor, a conservative Republican, and an opponent of communism. As a young man, Ronald Reagan was a Hollywood actor and he performed in commercials and movies. He was in more than 50 films, and at the start of World War II, he was assigned to an Army film unit in Los Angeles, where he spent the rest of the war making training films. Ronald Reagan married Jane Wyman from 1940 to 1949, and then former First Lady Nancy Reagan from 1952 until 2004. In 1962, Reagan campaigned actively for Nixon while Nixon was running for the governor of California. In the last week of the campaign, Reagan delivered a speech that made him a hero to the Republicans. Reagan announced his candidacy for governor of California in 1966, and Edmund G. Brown, the previous governor, and his opponent ridiculed Reagan for his lack of experience. Reagan won the election by nearly 1 million votes, and he served from 1967 to 1975. During Reagan's campaign, Reagan's opponent in the Republican Party was George Bush, and after debates and votes, Reagan beat him, and Reagan chose Bush as his running mate, and they campaigned against Jimmy Carter and Walter Mondale. Jimmy Carter began the campaign in a bad position due to inflation increasing, unemployment and interest rates being high, and also his inability to resolve the Iran hostage crisis. This led to Reagan getting slightly more than half the popular vote, and a vote of 489 to Carter's 49 in the Electoral College to become the 40th President of the United States. During Reagan's presidency, he implemented policies to reduce the federal government from taking money from Americans, which included tax cuts intended to spur growth, which was also known as Reaganomics. He also advocated for increases in military spending. By 1983, the economy started to recover, and this lasted throughout his presidency. Some critics said that his policies led to budget deficits and more national debt. Others thought the programs favored the rich. During Reagan's presidency, foreign affairs were mostly about the Cold War and communism. During his first term, there was a massive buildup of weapons and troops, and the Cold War was escalating. Reagan also made a policy called the Reagan Doctrine, which provided aid to anti-communist movements in Africa, Asia, and Latin America.
Good afternoon, Mr. President.
Good afternoon, my boy. You must excuse me for my voice, for I am fighting a cold.
Okay. What's your campaign motto this year?
My campaign motto is, it's morning in America, for the reason that the American people are finally waking up to realize what they want.
Did you enjoy your acting career?
I enjoyed it very much. The only reason why I quit was because I feel like the American people needed a strong leader. My favorite film, I would have to say, was Bedtime with Bonzo. That cute little monkey always gave me the heebie-jeebies.
So what is Reaganomics?
Well, as you know, Reaganomics is, big tax cuts, mainly to the rich, so that they can trickle down money and give to the middle class and the poor class. Now, this is reduced inflation by a lot, so it's been helping out this country a lot, and it's working.
So what are your plans for next year?
My plans, I plan to go to Berlin and give a speech there at the wall. The speech is still in writing, sadly, but I plan it to be a wonderful one and one to remember.
In the communist world, we see failure. There is one sign the Soviets can make that would be unmistakable, that would advance dramatically the cause of freedom and peace. Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
The Soviet Union will collapse on itself shortly, and that'll be due mainly to my steps and leaps and bounds during my presidency. Turning out, I believe, and American people sure believe, that I've become a great president and that I can succeed in these American people's values.
How many states do you think you're going to win?
I think the majority of American people will vote in my favor, so I think I'll win the vast majority of states.
What about Minnesota, since it's Mondale's hometown?
Well, since this is just privately, I think Mondale is a very weak opponent. I don't think he is going to build on the American people values. I believe that Minnesota will definitely vote him, but it will be a close race.
His home state, he grew up there, and there you see the first blue state on the ABC News map.